scholars, and happy Monday. So good to see you through your phones, your TVs, your computers, however you're watching this video now. It's so good to see you. Today we're going to work on our controlled vowels, as you can see, which can be a really tricky thing for a lot of friends, so it does well with a little bit of extra practice. But before we can get started with our controlled vowels, we have to sing our Hello There song. My turn first, you repeat. Hello there. How are you? It's so good to see you. We'll sing and be happy. We're all here together again. Awesome, let's get started with those R controlled vowels. Okie dokie, friends, we're ready to do those R controlled vowels. Just like with digraphs and long vowels, we're going to do letters, then the keyword, then the sound. Repeat after me and do some sort of movement or TPR move, either what your teacher did last year in second grade or mine. Repeat after me. My turn. A-R, car, R. O-R, horn, or. E-R, her, And notice in the picture the boy is pointing, but in sign language the sign for her is with an open hand. Her. E-R, her. My turn. I-R, bird, And the last one, you-are, burn, Now, a lot of these R controlled vowels sound kind of similar. I'm going to go down the list and just say the sound. Repeat after me. R, or, Yeah, these last three sounds all say Again, one more time. R, or, Beautiful. Way to practice those R controlled vowels. There aren't too many of them, but they're really, really tricky. They're kind of hard. Let's do our learning target and see what our learning activity for the day is. Poof. And just like that, I have my learning target and my dog, who is being a wiggle worm right now. He wants to be in my lap, and then he doesn't want to be in my lap, and I'm not sure he knows what it is he wants. I'm going to put you on the floor, hubby. See if he wants to stay. He's being very silly. Nothing new there. He's always silly. All right, guys, for our learning target today, we're going to read it at the same time. Choral reading. Here we go. I can identify and decode words with R-controlled vowels. Again, I can identify and decode words with R-controlled vowels. Hi, Javi. Let's start with words in boxes. That tells us what we're going to do. The first word is identify. I have a little song to remind me what identify means. Repeat after me. Identify. Find. Identify means find. They mean the same thing. Find. F-I-N-D. We got a glued sound. I-N-D. Find. We're going to find or identify and decode. Do you guys remember what decode means? That's right, read. I'll draw a book. Decode just means read. Quick sketch, nothing fancy. Okay, we're going to identify or find and decode or read words with those R-controlled vowels that we just practiced from our poster. One R-controlled vowel is ER, says We also have AR, says R, and we have IR, says like in bird. We're going to practice finding or identifying and reading R-controlled vowels. Let's do it. All right, guys, so for our activity today, I wrote a story, but before we read the entire story together, I think it's best that we identify or find and read, decode, the R-controlled vowels that are in this story, because there are a bunch of words with R-controlled vowels. Let's look at the title first and see if you can identify or find any R-controlled vowels. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer. Here we go. Do you see any R-controlled vowels in the title of my story? If you see one, take 2 fat fingers, draw a circle around it. I see one in the first word, you are. What does you are say? It's one of those 3 at the bottom of our poster that says You are says Let's read this first word. Read or decode. Ing. Good down. ing. Ring ing. Haha. Ing. Ring. During. The first word is during. We just read our very first R-controlled vowel word. And it wasn't that hard, was it? Especially when you find chunks in words, like those glued sounds, and of course, R-controlled vowels. Are there any other words in the title that have R-controlled vowels? This word has one at the end, ER. Let's circle it. And ER also says ER. It's one of our ers. Those ones are pretty common. Let's say the sounds in this word. S, What's that second word in my title? Summer. Summer. So the title says during summer. Just like that, we already read 2 words that have R-controlled vowels. Let's start with the body of the text. Let's go ahead and look at this first sentence, which starts at this word. It's a power word. That word is my. And then it goes all the way through here, boop, 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 and stops right here. Looking at just this first sentence, try to find some R-controlled vowels. I got the first one for you. And if you spy some R-controlled vowels, take 2 fat fingers and circle them. How many R-controlled vowels did you find? Cool, I found 3 R-controlled vowels in that first sentence. Let's start with this word. It ends with the ER vowel, R-controlled vowel. ER says ER, her, With that, I know this word is brother. Brother. There's another R-controlled vowel word. This time it's at the end, brother. My brother. Okay, did you find any other words in that sentence with R-controlled vowels? Is there one in this word? No, there's a glued sound, ing, like ing, ring, ing, but no R-controlled vowel. What about this word? Yeah, I can see right by my finger there is you are. What sound does the you are R-controlled vowel make? It's like this. You are, burn, So the sound is This word is ing. Ring. Did you get it? It's during. During, and then where's that last R-controlled vowel in the first sentence? Last word in the sentence right here. And the R-controlled vowel again is at the end. And just like in brother, the ER at the end of the word says Okay, let's say all the sounds. Remember, we have a double consonant. We'll just say that sound once. Blend with me. S, What's this word? Summer. We have brother, during, and summer. Now, this was just luck, but all of the R-controlled vowels here say All right, looking at that next sentence, it starts with this power word. This power word is We, W-E, says we, and it goes all the way through here and ends here. So looking at that second sentence, circle the R-controlled vowels you see. How many R-controlled vowels did you find in the second sentence? Did you circle 2? I found 2. Let's see where they are. I saw the very first R-controlled vowel in this sentence after the power word we was in this word. Here it is, O-R. O-R says O-R, horn, or. The sound is or. I see that magic E. Let's say the first 3 sounds. So we have a vowel, a consonant, and an R-controlled vowel. It's or. Adore. And here the A is making more of an sound, like you up That happens a lot in the English language. English is kind of wackadoo like that. But we do have that OR here saying or, like an OR, horn, or. The word is adore. Like I have Javi in my lap. And goodness knows I adore him. I love him very, very much. Adore. Where is another word with R-controlled vowels in that sentence? Right here, another ER at the end of the word. This ER R-controlled vowel says The word is water. Do you hear the at the end of water? Me too. Very nice. Looking at that next sentence, it goes from here with Javi all the way down to the end of the page. Lower just a little bit. And Javi's even in my lap. Circle the R-controlled vowels. Did you find some R-controlled vowels? Nice. I found a couple, and the first one I saw was right here. What letters did I circle? A-R, and A-R says R, like A-R, car, R. Let's say all the sounds in the first part of this word, because it's got that hyphen. It tells me it's not finished yet. Let's say all the sounds in the first part. S, t, R, t. Start. Let's finish the word over here with ooh. A glute sound. La la la. This glute sound says ing. Kind of that bell sound. Ing. I-N-G. Ring ing. Very nice. We have start. Ing. Start. Ing. The word is starting. Very nice. Where was another R-controlled vowel? Did you find one? I see one right by Javi's head, right here. Boop, he's looking at it right now. Another ER at the end of a word. Woo! We're seeing a pattern that these ER, R-controlled vowels, tend to come at the end of a word, in my story at least. And let's say all the sounds to read this word. D, What's the word? Under. Under. This is seeming like a very interesting story. Did you find the last R-controlled vowel in that sentence? It's at the very end of the sentence. And again, the end of the word ER for the word water again. Same as this word up here. Water ends with the ER, R-controlled vowel. Let me get the second part of my story. I'm going to clap my hands. When I clap my hands, it's going to switch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go, and we are ready with the second part of my story. Let's look at the first sentence in this part of my story. It starts here, goes through the second line, and ends with this word, swimming. Circle some R-controlled vowels in the first sentence. How many R-controlled vowels did you find? I found 2. Let's see. The first one I saw was right here in the middle of this word, ER. We know that ER says We've practiced that one a lot. And I think this word's really big, but I want to chunk it. What's this word that I drew the smiley face shape under? Day. It's a power word. Day. So we've got yest. Yest. ER says like in her, and day. Yest, day. Yesterday. Yesterday. It's great to chunk up words when you can, especially if they have R-controlled vowels because that makes them trickier. Yesterday. And what was the other word that had an R-controlled vowel in it? Right below this one, right here, I see IR. IR says like IR, bird, Another one of our R-controlled vowels. I spy the TH digraph, which says like thumb. So this word is Let's blend it. Third. Did you see any other R-controlled vowels in that sentence? Me neither. Let's look at the very last sentence very quickly. 2 fat fingers circle the words or the parts of the words that have R-controlled vowels. I found 2. How many did you find? All right, let's circle them. Let's find them. I see one right over here. Again, ER at the end of a word. We're going to ignore the Y. It was a mistake. I crossed it out, but it's hard to see. Okay. Now, ER says and this word is braver. Braver. And if you took off the R, you would have that magic E to make the A say its name. But this here is actually a suffix. Braver. 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 And where was the other R-controlled vowel? Another ER right here. This word is every. Every, kind of a tricky word. Now that we've identified all of the R-controlled vowels and decoded or read them, we're ready to read the entire story. Let me get the first page. Let's do it. Time to read a story. Time to read a story. Time to read a story because we practice R-controlled vowels. R-controlled vowels has a lot of syllables or parts in it. Didn't fit well into the song, but you get the idea. All right, guys, let's read our story. Full of R-controlled vowels. During summer, my brother and I love going to the lake during summer. We adore playing in the water. Javi is starting to swim, but he won't put his head under the water. Second page. Oop. Yesterday was the 3rd time we went swimming. He is getting braver with every trip. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you enjoy looking for R-controlled vowels in your reading this week. We're going to practice this skill a little bit more. It's an important one, but until then, take care. Bye, scholars.
Hi friends, it's Miss Wagner here teaching you 2nd grade math. So let's go ahead and get our materials ready. The same materials that we've been having every single week. Something to write on, something to write with, and of course let's have a stuffy because sometimes we want to talk to our stuffy. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple seconds to go ahead and get those things if you don't already have them, which I'm sure a lot of you already do. So go get them and then come right back and we're going to get started. All right, friends, let's go ahead and look at our learning target now. And as we're looking at our learning target, remember we're thinking about something that we know and something that we're wondering. So go ahead and read this with me. I will use the strategy of making 10 to add 3 two-digit numbers. I want you to take a second and go ahead and think about something that you know, and go ahead and tell your Steffi or somebody next to you what do you know, and you can give an example of, and maybe something you're wondering, you can't remember what it is exactly. All right, so I kind of marked them already just to kind of help us ready. Something that maybe we already know is strategies, and that is something that helps us be able to solve our problems. Things like number lines, 100 charts, using our tens and ones, place value chart. Making 10 is the strategy, and we kind of talked a lot about that when we're using our tens and ones, we're creating and we're making a 10. And adding is something that we probably already know. Something we're wondering is this 3 two-digit numbers. So again, 3-digit, two-digit numbers is like 22 plus 46 plus, I don't know why I have two symbols, plus 52. That means that we're adding all three of those numbers together, and they're three numbers with two digits inside them. Okay, so that's something that we're going to be doing today. Because we're going to be talking about making 10, I want us to go ahead, just to remind ourselves for our warm-up, is to create all the different ways to make a 10. So I want you to do that right now. On your piece of paper, create all the different ways to go ahead and make a 10. Okay, so hopefully you have some ways, and let's go ahead and start them off. All right, so one of the first ones is oops. This is why we write with pencil, right? 1 plus 9, that equals 10. 2 plus 8, that equals 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. All right, so now I want you to kind of think about different ways to create 100 using this. I'm just going to give you a moment and then I'll elaborate. I'll give you more information exactly what to do. But right now, I just want you to kind of think on your own. Some different ways to make 100 using a pattern like this. Okay, so some things that maybe you started seeing. Well, 1 plus 9 makes 10. So what about if I make 10 plus 90? That will equal 100. You kind of see the pattern right here? Let's try it again. So now let's look at this 2 plus 8 equals 10, and let's create it to make 100. What about if I did 20 plus 80 equals 100? Are you starting to see it? Let's see if you can finish the 3 plus 7, 5 plus 5, but making those numbers, changing them, right, into tens to make 100. So what we really wanted to do is I wanted you guys to focus, again, on those famous numbers that make 10. When we also add that extra 0, we make them into a 10, right? We have tens place and a ones place. we're creating 100 as well. So 10 plus 90, that's going to equal 100. And you can always count out 90, 100. Just one more 10, right? We're at 80 and we're counting by tens and we're trying to go up to 100. 80, 90, 100. That's two tens equaling the 20. So it's the same thing. We're just finding those numbers. As you can see them, they're all right here, creating a 10, but they can also create 100 and they can keep going from there. We're just adding that 0. So that's the thing that we're going to be doing today is we're going to be really looking for these kind of numbers and creating a 10. But there's other numbers too that can help. So I wanted just to show you. If we had 75 plus 25, do you see a number that makes a 10? Yeah, 5 and 5, right? We have them right here. 5 and 5 is going to make a 10. Well, what happens when we have 10 or more in a one spot? Because that's what's showing right here. We have two numbers that are going to make 10 or more, because 5 and 5 make 10. So what happens when we have that? We're going to carry a 10 over. So I'm going to show you just using, so we have a 10. That's going to give us a 0. We carried a 10, so now we have an extra 10 up here. So we have 7, 1, 2, 3. We have 3, so 7 and 3 makes 10. That's giving us a 100. Another way to look at them real fast is going ahead and using our 10 sticks. So we have, actually, let me go ahead and I'll just, you draw them like you would. So 7 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 2 tens, and 5 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we know that these are going to make a 10, leaving us with 0 ones. That's why we have no more ones, because these together just created 1 10, and now we have all these 10s to add up, and we can go like this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So again, we made 100. We have no ones. That's why we have that 0. All right, so let's keep the same idea. Please put this paper off to the side because you're going to need it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So like our learning target said today, that we're going to be adding 3 two-digit numbers. So let's go ahead and start off with our very first one. And what we're going to be doing is we're looking for a 10. We're looking to create 10s, and that's going to help us be able to solve this. So when we're looking at these, do you see two numbers that are either going to create a 10, create 100? So I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and look at this. I will read it to you. 75 plus 55 plus 25. Do you see some kind of combination to either make 100 or make a 10? I want you to go ahead and whisper to your stuffy. If you see it, and you can go ahead and tell your stuffy two numbers that you would think are going to be the easiest to add because you're going to see a 10 or that you can make 100. All right. So if we looked at our little cheat sheet, we know that 75 plus 25 makes 100. Well, in our equation, we also have the numbers 75 and 25. So we know that if we put those two numbers together, we're going to go ahead and bring them down here. We know that we get 100. Okay, what do we do next? We added the 75 and 25 and we made 100 because we already knew that based off of our cheat sheet. So now what do we do? I want you to go ahead and tell your stuffy, what do you think we're going to do next? All right, if you said we're going to add the last number, 55, You're correct. Because we have to add all three numbers, right? We added two of the numbers, making 100, but we have to add the last number, and that's 55. Well, if I had 100 plus 55, what am I going to do to get the answer? How are you going to solve the answer? What strategy are you going to do? Again, we can use our tens and ones, our hundreds as well. We can go on a 100 chart. We can add up using a number line, all different things. What are we going to do to add these two numbers together? If you're thinking you already got it, go ahead and solve it. So for me, I can see that my 10 place and my ones place for my hundreds is 0. So that means 0 plus 5 is going to equal 5, and 0 plus 5 is going to equal 5. And then I don't have a hundreds here, so I'm just bringing down my 100, giving me 155. I can see that with my zeros. It's really easy when we can add our zeros, and we've been practicing that. Another way we can do is that we have 5 tens, so we can count up by tens from 100 5 times, right? So we can go 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, and then we go up 5 ones, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, getting 155. Or we can use our tens and one sticks as well. And some of us may need to do that. I know I like to see a visual. So we have 100, and that's a little square, right? Plus 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be adding them together. And again, we can see 100, and then we can count like that because we don't have another 100 to put together. So we're just going off 100. So 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155. All right, so now it's when it gets a little bit trickier. I'm going to throw a harder one at you. Again, still using your tens and ones. I'm sorry, still using your cheat sheet of your tens. We're going to go ahead and add 38 plus 23 plus 47. Do you see any numbers in here that is going to create a 10? Any numbers in here that is going to create a 10? I'll give you a second to think about it, and go ahead and make sure you tell your stuffy those two numbers that you think are going to create a 10. Right. So if you said 23 and 47, you are correct. And the reason why, you could be like, well, 2 and 4, they don't create a 10. You're right, but 3 and 7 do create a 10. They are a partner of our 10s, right? So what they're going to do is they're in the one spot. Well, what happens when we have 10 or more in our one spot? What happens to it? We carry the 10, right? So 3 and 7 is going to make 10 ones. That means that we're going to have a 0 in the ones because it's a 10, so it's 0, and we're going to carry the 10 over to the 10 spots with a 4 and 2. So if we're adding an extra 10, let's say we add extra 10 to our 2, that gives us 3. So now we have 3 plus 4. Well, what's 3 plus 4? 4, 1, 2, 3, 7. That's given us 70. What do we do next? We just added 23 and 47, finding that 10, carrying the 10 over to the 10 spot. What do we do next? Go ahead and tell your stuffy. Right. We are going to add 38. So now we have 38 plus 70. I'm going to ask you this question again. Do you see some kind of pattern right here with these numbers? There's a 10 there again. So let's go ahead and focus on our ones first. Again, we can do it like this. Miss Wagner can see that there's a 0 and an 8 in the one spots. We're putting them together. 0 plus 8 is going to make 8. And 7 and 3 in the 10 spot, putting them together, adding them together. Well, I know that 7 and 3 are partners of 10, so it's going to make 10, giving us 108. We can do it that way if we can visually see it. If we can't, there's other ways to do it, right? We start at 70 and we see that we're going to add 38. Well, in 38, there's 3 tens. So we're going to go up 3 tens from 70. So we go 70, 80, 90, 100. And then how many ones do we have? 8. Remember, we don't have ones here. We have 0, so we just have 8 ones to add. So we're at 100, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. Okay, we can do it that way. And then our other way, again, is just creating the blocks. So we can go 38 was 3 tens, 8 ones, 70 is just 7 tens. And now we're going to add them together. Well, if we added the ones together first, we can see we only have 8 ones because we have none over here. So we're going to put 8, and then we add the tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, giving us 108. Because we can go 100 and 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, giving us 108. All right, friends, we are running out of time. So we don't have time to do another one, but you will have time to do another one on your own, which is a good idea to practice for tomorrow, because tomorrow you're going to be focusing on adding 4 two-digit numbers. So go ahead and write this down. 36 plus 28 plus 42. Again, 36 plus 28 plus 42. All right, use the same strategies that we used today. Finding a 10, you can use counting on. You can use your 10, 6, and 1s, whatever you need to do to go ahead and add 36 plus 28 plus 42. Go ahead and practice that, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hola, les saluda Mrs. Mares y hoy vamos a continuar nuestras lecciones para esta semana de matemáticas. Recuerda que necesitas 2 materiales para esta semana. Necesitas lápiz y papel, así que asegúrate de traer tu lápiz y tu papel y vamos a comenzar con nuestra lección. Esta semana vamos a estar practicando cómo sumar hasta 4 números de 2 dígitos y vamos a usar 2 diferentes estrategias. Así que necesitas tu lápiz y tu papel para poder hacer la lección conmigo. Comencemos la lección. Para nuestra lección del día de hoy, nuestro objetivo es, pongámoslo en nuestra mente porque eso es lo que vamos a trabajar el día de hoy. Podré sumar, acuérdate que sumar quiere decir que pongo 2 números y los sumo, los pongo juntos. Hasta 4 números, 4 diferentes números de 2 dígitos usando la estrategia haciendo un 10. Por ejemplo, yo puse aquí unos ejemplos que 2 dígitos, por ejemplo, el número 13 tiene 2 dígitos, tiene unidades y decenas, el número 15, el número 24 y el número 36. ¿Puedes pensar tú en un número que tenga 2 dígitos? ¿Qué número podría ser? Podrías escoger el número 90, el número 85, el número 75, 35, 44. Cualquier número que tenga unidades y decenas es un número de 2 dígitos. El día de hoy vamos a poder sumar hasta 4 de estos números. Por ejemplo, si sumaría todos estos números usando diferentes estrategias. Y hoy nos vamos a enfocar en la estrategia de haciendo un 10. Así que antes de comenzar nuestra lección y practicar algunas ecuaciones, vamos a pensar lo que practicamos hace unas semanas atrás. ¿Cuáles son las maneras de hacer un 10? Pero hoy agregué también cómo podemos hacer un 100. Vamos a practicar cómo hacer un 10, pero también cómo hacer un 100. Hace unas semanas pusimos todas las ecuaciones que hacen un 10. Así que en tu papel, si tienes listo tu lápiz y tu papel, puedes escribir estas ecuaciones para que te ayuden cuando hagamos nuestra lección. Por ejemplo, nuestra primera ecuación, 1 más 9. Eso nos da un 10. Si tengo una unidad y le agrego 9 más, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Si tengo 1 más 9, me van a dar un 10. En vez de 10 unidades por sí solas, voy a tener un grupo de 10. Ahora, ¿qué pasaría si pongo 10 más 90? Si 1 más 9 me da 10, ¿qué me daría si pongo 10 más 90? Pensemos, ¿qué nos daría si pongo 10 más 90? Si tengo un grupo de 10 y a ese grupo de 10 le sumo 9 grupos de 10. Aquí tengo 9 grupos de 10 y un grupo de 10. ¿Qué número me daría si yo agrego 10 más 90? ¿Lo tienes en tu mente? ¿Qué sería nuestro número? Sería un 100. Si pensaste en un 100, lo tenías correcto, porque 10 más 90, si 1 más 9 me da 10, 10 más 90 me va a dar 100. Intentemos uno más. 2 más 8 me va a dar 10. Ese ya lo hemos practicado. Entonces, ¿qué pasaría si pongo 20 más 80? ¿Qué me daría 20 si tengo 20 más 80? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 grupos de 10 es igual a 80. 20 más 80. ¿Cuál sería mi número? Sería un 100. Muy bien. Porque si le agrego 20 a 80, me va a dar 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 y 100. Muy bien. Ahora, si hago 3 más 7, yo sé que eso me da un 10. ¿Qué pasaría si pongo 30 más 70? ¿Qué número me daría? 30 más 70. ¿Cuál sería mi resultado? 30 más 70, si 3 más 7 es igual a 10, ¿qué sería 30 más 70? Sería 100. Muy bien. 30 más 70 me dan 100. Ahora, yo sé que 4 más 6 me da 10. ¿Qué pasaría si sumo 40 más 60? 40, 4 grupos de 10, 40 más 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grupos de 10. ¿Qué pasaría si sumo 40 más 60? Si 4 más 6 es igual a 10, ¿qué sería 40 más 60? Sería, ¿qué número? 100. 40 más 60 es igual a 100. Vamos a intentar uno más. 5 más 5, yo sé que 5 más 5 tengo 10. ¿Qué pasaría si yo sumo 50 más 50? Si pongo 50 más 50. 50 más 50. Si 5 más 5 es igual a 10, ¿qué sería 50 más 50? ¿Cuál sería la respuesta? 100. Muy bien. Ahora veamos nuestros números que hacen 10 y 100. 1 más 9 es igual a 10. 10 más 90 es igual a 100. 2 más 8 es igual a 10. Repite conmigo. 20 más 80 es igual a 100. 3 más 7 es igual a 10. 30 más 70 es igual a 100. 4 más 6 es igual a 10. 40 más 60 es igual a 100. 5 más 5 es igual a 10. Y 50 más 50 es igual a 100. Muy bien, vamos a usar estos números durante nuestra lección. Pero antes de comenzar nuestra lección, vamos a ver qué otros 3 números nos pueden, o 3 ecuaciones nos pueden dar 100. Y vamos a ver por qué. Tengo aquí 3 ecuaciones. Todavía estamos calentando nuestra mente y tengo la ecuación 25 más 75. Si lo pusiera con mis bloques, tengo 25 más 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Más 75. Me faltan 5 unidades. Tengo 25 más 75. Ahora, yo sé que si pongo las 5 unidades juntas, voy a tener un grupo de... ¿Cuántas voy a tener? ¿Cuántas unidades tengo ahora? Si puedes, las puedes contar, o si lo tienes en tu mente, ponlo en tu mente. 5 más 5, practicamos hace un momento que 5 más 5 es igual a 10. Así que 5 más 5 me va a dar 10, que lo puedo cambiar por un grupo de 10. Ahora, si tengo 20 más 10 más 70, puedo juntar este con este y puedo decir tengo 30 más 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Así cuando contamos nuestro dinero, 25 centavos más 75 centavos, ¿qué me va a dar? Si tengo 30 más 70, lo hicimos hace un momento, ¿cuál sería mi respuesta? Sería 100, porque tengo 30 más 70. Y si los cuento juntos, tengo 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 y 100. Muy bien. Sería 100. Ahora, sin usar mis bloques, vamos a ver nuestra siguiente ecuación. 50 más 50. Eso lo hicimos hace un momento. ¿Qué sería? Sería un... ¿Cuál sería nuestro número? Un 100. Muy bien. Ahora, veamos esta última ecuación. Si sé que tengo 5 al final, yo sé que 5 unidades más 5 unidades me dan 10. Ahora tengo un grupo de 10. Entonces, tengo 60 más 30 más 10. Yo sé que 60 más 30 es 90, más 10 más me van a dar 100. Así que estas son otras ecuaciones que nos pueden ayudar a hacer un número 100. Tenemos las ecuaciones que practicamos al principio y 3 ecuaciones que cuando a veces tenemos 5 en nuestras unidades, tenemos que pensar que 5 más 5 nos va a dar un grupo de 10 y va a ser un poco más fácil contarlo. Porque aquí tenía 60 más 30, que me da 90, porque sé que 6 más 3 es 9, pero le agregué este nuevo grupo de 10 que hice con 5 más 5 y me dio 100. Tengo 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 y 100. Muy bien. Ahora estamos listos para comenzar con nuestra ecuación. Y vamos a ver si podemos usar hacer un 10 para resolver nuestras ecuaciones. Nuestra primera ecuación dice así. Lo puedes escribir en tu papel conmigo. 75, escríbelo en tu papel, más 55 más 25. Vamos a sumar 3 números de 2 dígitos. Lo voy a volver a decir para que lo escribas en tu papel. 75 más 55 más 25. Muy bien. Ahora vamos a practicar nuestra estrategia de nuestro objetivo, que era hacer un 10. Aquí puedo ver una manera que puedo hacer un 10. Sé que tengo 5 unidades en cada una. Entonces puedo decir que puedo juntar 2 de estas unidades y me van a dar un grupo de 10. Así que hagamos la unidad de 75 y 25, porque sé en lo que practicamos que 70 más 30 me va a dar 100. 3 más 7 me da 10 o 30 más 70 me da 100. Y ese va a ser un número fácil para poder sumarlo junto. Ahora, si 75 y 25, vamos a hacer esos dos números. 75 más 25, ¿qué me va a dar? Voy a primero usar 75 y 25. El 55 lo voy a dejar para después. 75 más 25. Yo sé que mis unidades me van a dar un 10. Y ahora tengo todavía 70 más 20. ¿Cuánto es 70 más 20? Si tengo acá 20 más 70, ¿cuánto sería 70 más 20? Tengo 70 más 20. Si los pongo juntos, lo puedo contar. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Porque sé que 7 más 2 es 9. 70 más 20 es igual a 90. Y todavía tengo acá el 10 que hice con mis 5. Así que mis 5 unidades más 5 unidades. Así que lo puedo sumar. ¿Y cuánto es 90 más 10? Es igual a, hicimos eso al principio. ¿Cuánto es 90 más 10? 90 más 10 es igual a 100. Muy bien. Así que ahorita tenemos 100. Ya que tenemos 100, podemos incluir el otro número que nos faltaba. Así que ahora tenemos 100 más 55 es igual a, ¿cuál sería nuestra respuesta? Si le agrego 100, tengo aquí 100 y tengo que agregar 55 más. Necesito 5 unidades y necesito 50 o 5 grupos de 10. 100 más 55 es igual a, si contamos, tenemos 100 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155. Nuestra respuesta sería 155. El objetivo era sumar hasta 4 números de 2 dígitos haciendo un 10. En tu casa vas a practicar esta ecuación haciendo un 10. Escríbelo en tu papel. 36 más 28 más 42. 36 más 28 más 42. Acuérdate, busca primero tus unidades. ¿Qué números te van a dar un 10? Yo puedo ver qué números me van a dar un 10. Practícalo en tu casa y el día de mañana vamos a seguir practicando nuestra lección sobre sumar 4 números hasta 4 números de 2 dígitos usando otra estrategia. Nos veremos mañana.